Kawasaki Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
The Titans were halted in their own den by Punjab. Can they now get back to winning ways as they make the trip to Lucknow? The IPL's youngest rivalry gives us match number 21 of the season on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPN Cricket 4 Timeout. Tom Moody and Wasim Jafar will help us preview that game. Tom, David Miller is out for a week or two, going by what we hear from the GT camp. Kane Williamson was his replacement. We know that Williamson's strike rate has not been really high in the last few seasons of the IPL. If he is to fulfill that role, does he need to change his game to help fill the void better?
Yeah, he'll be very aware his strike rate over recent times hasn't been where he'd like it. But I think those numbers reflect the time that he had that elbow injury, which seemed to hang around for over a year and a half to 2 years. So I wouldn't be reading too much into that. To me, it's more about whether GT see that Kane Williamson is the right replacement in the role as David Miller is recovering from his back injury. The options they can consider are Matthew Wade, who's joined the team. He joined it after the first game. But if he comes into the side, it also gives them the flexibility to look at another combination, and that is possibly look at using him as a keeper and replacing Saha, who's been a little bit light on runs. I think he's only got about 76 runs so far this year, and play a specialist batter and put Sai Sudarshan up the top of the order. So I don't know what your thoughts are about that, Wasim, but maybe that's a possibility, and it allows them to play Wade in the middle, which gives them that sort of impact player in the middle.
It does make sense because Sai Sudarshan and Kane Williamson are pretty much similar. I mean, they don't hurt the opposition as much as you would want them to, and both of them coming at 3 and 4. Probably most teams would like to see number 3, number 4 like that. That's where they have struggled, and it's not a bad idea to get Matthew Wade in the middle order and get Sai Sudarshan up, and probably play Shahrukh or Manohar at 5 or 6 and get that combination right, and it does give them a lot of stability with Umarzai also there.
And Vijay Shankar comes in at number 3, which he's played that role and played that role pretty well from in the past.
Which also allows him to come in a little earlier. The last match you had 3, 4, 5 as Sudarshan, Williamson and Vijay Shankar. So that's Gujarat's angle. For Lucknow, last season, their home matches, they relied a lot on spin. We're guessing it's not similar surfaces this time, but in their spin camp, there is Ravi Bishnoi, who so far, 3 games in, has only 1 wicket. We know he's not a high wicket taker generally, but what he used to do very well for Lucknow was contain the runs. As you can see, Wasim, that's also not happening. So what's going wrong with Bishnoi? Is it the over-reliance on the wrong ones which is making him more predictable?
I mean, that's his strength. That's the delivery he bowls the most. He does need to get his other variations going. He doesn't bowl a lot of leg spin. And the Indian batters generally play him well. And in the last few games, he's pitched the ball up a little bit too much, I feel, and the batters have went after him. So he just needs to get his length a little shorter. When he gets that, he becomes a little difficult to hit, and he's attacking the stump. I feel that the length is little closer to the batter, and that which allows the Indian batter, obviously, who plays them really well. It can probably work to the foreign batters, but to the Indian batters, he needs to be a little bit shorter, I feel.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make there. I think, in a way, that he might be feeling the external pressure around World Cup selection, and that length, quite often for a spinner, when it becomes a little bit fuller, is they're searching for wickets. So he's wanting to obviously make an impression with wickets in his column. Hence, he's a yard fuller than he needs to be. And the other thing we need to recognise, yes, it's only a 3-game sample, but he's only bowled 10 overs. So it's not like he's bowled his max overs during that period. But I'm sure he'll make that adjustment because his strength is being a defensive bowler, which creates opportunities for wickets through, his defence, whether it be at his end or his partner's end at the other end.
Right. Give us an early shout for this game. Who are your favourites?
I'm going to stick with GT, I think.
I'm going to go for Lucknow. I feel they're a more rounded team, and I think they're playing at Lucknow.
Yep.
So home advantage. to
That's
Lucknow.
why I said GT for that reason, because I knew you'd go Lucknow.
So it's even Stevens here. If Wasim is right, it will give Lucknow a first. So far, these two teams have met 4 times in the IPL. All 4 matches have been won by Gujarat.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.